Hello again. I sometimes ask myself, just how stupid do our government think we are? The answer is fairly plain. They assume that the average citizen has the IQ of a tapeworm, and not just any old tapeworm either, but one which was probably dropped on its head as a baby. I say this with perfect confidence because of an announcement by the new Home Secretary, the spectacularly inaptly named James Cleverly. He says that as a result of new measures which he is introducing, the number of people arriving in this country from overseas will be cut by a quarter. Presumably, this means that those who choose to remain in the country permanently after coming here from overseas, those who make up what is described as net migration, will also be cut by a quarter. This is presented as glorious news, showing that the government is determined to get a grip on immigration to this country. It is, in fact, catastrophic news. Let me explain why. In the 2010 general election, David Cameron, at that time Prime Minister, made a manifesto pledge to reduce net migration to this country below 100,000 a year. In 2017, just 7 years later, then Prime Minister Theresa May repeated this promise and said that she would reduce net migration to the tens of thousands, as she put it. That was just 6 years ago. I give links in the description to this video to the figures about which I am talking today. Our new Home Secretary has promised to reduce the number of foreigners coming to Britain by a quarter. Assuming that this reduction will also be the level by which net migration is reduced, and that's certainly the implication in his announcement, where does that leave us? Last year, 2022, net migration to this country reached 745,000, which is just a whisker below 750,000. That is to say, that is the number of immigrants who came to live here for good, rather than working or studying and then returning to their own countries. Let's reduce that by a quarter, as James Cleverly is promising to do. A quarter of 745,000 is 186,250. Take that away from 745,000, that gives us a figure of 558,750. What James Cleverly is presenting as good news is that under the stringent new rules that he is bringing in, net migration to Britain next year will be well over 500,000. That is to say, over 5 times the number that we were promised in 2017. Hands up all those who think that an annual level of net migration to this country of well in excess of 500,000 a year can possibly be good news. I am irresistibly reminded of the situation in Orwell's 1984, when an announcement is made that the chocolate ration is to be reduced from 30 to 20 grams a week. The next day, an announcement is made that the chocolate ration is to be increased to 20 grams. Let me quote from the reaction to the news. It appeared that there had been demonstrations to thank Big Brother for raising the chocolate ration to 20 grams a week. And only yesterday, he reflected, it had been announced that the ration was to be reduced to 20 grams a week. Was it possible that they could swallow that after only 24 hours? Yes, they swallowed it. This is absolutely the situation which we now have in this country. That anybody could possibly claim that a rise in immigration, which means that more than 500,000 come to live permanently in Britain every year, is good news and represents a tightening of the rules around immigration, really makes any sort of comment by me quite unnecessary.